Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Iyun Shulchan Aruch. Today's Simon is Simon Lamed Dalid. We're talking about something famous over here about tefillin. Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, famous machlokas. If you wondered what Rabbeinu Tam tefillin are like, are they colored green? Are they colored red? No. That's not what Rabbeinu Tam. Machlokas Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam simply as machlokas when you have the four compartments in your shell rosh. You have four different separate parshios. In which order do you put them? Do you put them in the order they are in the Torah, like Rashi or the Rambam, or do you just make one switch, where you put Vayayim Shemo, which comes later in Parshas Akev? Do you put that before Shema Yisrael, the last parsha in V'eschana, and Shema Yisrael, I guess, is the most important one. I guess that's why Rabbeinu Tam says put it at the last, because that's closest to your right side. Shema Yisrael, right? That's the ikar of belief in Hashem, Amunah, right? The person about to die, he says Shema Yisrael. He believes in God. So that's the machlokas. So the recommendation of the Shulchan Aruch, first of all, if you want to put on Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, he says wait till after davening. And what do you do when you put them on? You say Shema v'yam Shemo. Why Shema v'yam Shemo? Why do you say those two? Why don't you say Kadesh and Akav also? So like I said many times, this reinforces the idea that the idea behind tefillin is to remind us of Cheshbon HaNefesh, and therefore it's appropriate, since you're concerned maybe Rabbeinu Tam, the halacha is like Rabbeinu Tam, the real tefillin like Rabbeinu Tam. So therefore, when you put on tefillin, make sure you say those parshios where it says the mitzvah. It says both in Parsha Shema and Vayam Shemoah, right? One it says singular, one it says plural, but it reminds you of the mitzvah of tefillin. So it's like you're doing it for the right reason. You're putting on tefillin, and you're reminding yourself why you're putting on that tefillin. You're putting on that tefillin to remove all those external thoughts and to focus on your cheshbon nefesh. That's why you say those things. If you're just putting on tefillin, really, I mean, we're going to talk about this, but really, ideally, the mitzvah of tefillin is like cheshbon nefesh, and all day you're making decisions. You should have a cheshbon nefesh, like the Mesilas Yesharim talks about. You always have to think and make the right decision when you have a decision to make. And you're able to make a decision 20,000 times a day. You're making decisions. You have to have your tefillin on, and your tefillin should really be on all day. We can't do that now. We can't have a guf naki. We can't avoid. Sometimes life gets busy. It's hard to make decisions. But if you have the ability to make a decision and you don't use it, that's a bittul of tefillin. It's hesach hadas. That's the worst thing you can do in tefillin. Halacha Gimel says, L'yasa ken al misha moksam forced mechasidus. We talked about why the question is why only over here. The Shulchan Aruch says, make sure, but hold on, caution. Before you do this, you take on this chumrah, Rabbeinu Tam, make sure you're someone who is known to do chumras. You're known to do chasidus. Chasidus means chumras equation. You're known to do this. Why only over here? I mean, there's plenty of machlokasim about matzah, about other mitzvahs in the Torah, and someone who's machmir like both of them, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't warn you. Don't do it unless you're forced to mechasidus. Otherwise, Commissioner Rura explains it's mechsek yura. It looks like you're arrogant. Why only over here? So I like to suggest over here that the idea is that part of cheshbon nefesh is to be exact, right? When you're making a decision, it's either black or white. There's no middle ground. I hate, sometimes people, okay, should I eat a hamburger for dinner, or should I eat soy hot dogs, right? I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I like hamburgers, right? I want to order a hamburger from Burger's Bar. I don't know if they have a good hechsher, but I want to order a good hamburger. You're in America. You want to order a hamburger from. They have any good hamburger place? I used to have Burger National when I was growing up. That was good hamburgers. I don't know. You want to order a hamburger. It's a little more expensive. It's meat, right? So you have a lot of questions. You're making a decision. A lot of things go into the decision. Should I be a vegan? Should I be a vegan or a vegetarian? Should I spend extra money? Soy hot dogs are pretty cheap even in Israel. It's pretty cheap, the soy hot dogs. Should I spend the extra money? Is it worth it? Which one do I like more? There's a lot of things going on into making that decision. It's hard to make that decision. Decisions are not easy to make, and they really stress people out. So, like as I mentioned, the worst thing is, I mean, that's not the worst thing. Is not to make a decision, but people oftentimes lead them to not making decisions when they try to answer the decision by making a pshara, right? They make a cheshbonos, as we call it, right? It was, like they say, the Eagle Azav, it's like Klal Yisrael did cheshbonos. They thought too much. You have a decision. You like meat, you like soy hot dogs. So make the decision. Make the right decision. Eat the hamburger because you like that better. And who says you have to be a vegan? But in case you made the wrong decision, you decided soy hot dogs. You can do charata, you can do tshuva after it. Some people say no, no, you can't. You have to make a pshara, right? I don't want to be too much of a baltaiva and eat hamburgers and eat cruelty to animals, but I don't want to eat par of hot dogs. You know what? I'm gonna go. I don't know if Beyond Meat makes this. I'm gonna have my plant-based cheeseburger, right? Plant-based cheeseburger. They can print out in 3D now pieces of meat that are not actual meat, and I'm gonna have a cheeseburger. So at the same time, it'll be like I didn't push away my taiva because I really wanted a hamburger and maybe even a cheeseburger. I can't eat a cheeseburger. But I didn't go for the poorness, the poverty of that. So I make a pshara over here. I'm going with Beyond Meat. I'm going to buy their stock also. And that's it. I have my cheeseburger at Toddy's on Central Avenue. I don't know if they're still open. When I was growing up, they were open in high school at the Rambam. So you make a pshara. This is what kills a lot of people. And you start doing this for everything, because it's basically just avoiding making a decision. You know, there's only two options over here. Don't create a third option and think you're being yotze first option and second option. You're not. Your third option is neither of the two. And when you start doing that, you don't do charata then. You don't do, because you didn't do anything wrong, right? You didn't pick the right or the wrong one. You picked the third one. You can't go wrong with the third one. And make cheshbonos to yourself. You ruin your cheshbon nefesh. You ruin your life. And you ruin your eternity. It's not worth it. Don't do it. See you tomorrow.